your argument first.
Wait, you have Momo?
Yeah, you have Delta
I
over
literally
Momo.
have Momo. Oh, you're saying base Momo?
Yeah, base Momo,
Oh,
like
I
not
think they
fused.
should. I think they should be relative.
Oh,
Like
why?
Yeah, I
it
don't
should
agree.
go.
I don't agree with that. I don't agree with
Yeah,
that
yeah.
at
You
all.
can give an argument for. Yeah, that's right.
You said, nigga, you said you asked if you wanted to scale first. I said yes, nigga, you scale first, and then you made up.
I was
He's
assuming you were
already
talking about
not
fusing.
tracking. Like,
Okay,
how
sure.
asking
Here's
you?
an argument. Here's an argument. I have partially Momoshiki in the manga. Like I'm not using anime. Anime's ass. Momoshiki in the manga, right, which is just a percentage of Momoshiki's experience, not even 100%. It's like around 80. Right, is able to like no diff the fuck out of U1 code who stated to be over Naruto and Sasuke. Naruto verbatim is stated to outclass Delta in every single capacity. Whereas I do not think that is
Okay,
relativity.
first off, I just want to point out that Trouble has failed the track already. It's not base Momo versus Momoshiki, retard. It's
Okay,
base
so I'm
Momo versus
not sure
Delta.
why you're.
Fuck, retard. Shut the fuck up. Okay, cool. So then, second off, I would like you to prove all the claims that you made.
Okay, yeah, sure. So I think the most fundamental claim I would have to prove right now is the fact that Delta is just not comparable to Naruto.
Yeah.
Let me get that statement.
Yeah. Go ahead and prove that.
Let me go get this statement. Do.
Oh shit.
Where is it at? That bum ass nigga Kawaki. Oh my god, these fights are like so long for no reason. Oh, there it is. There it is. Okay. Let me go
Are you
find the
sending it in
server.
scans? Or,
No, I'm sending it in VC chat, dumbass.
okay, cool.
No, I'm sending
Just
it in
for me.
scans.
Oh, okay.
Check scans chat. So that's the first statement. The fuck? Just glitched instead of record of Ragnarok statement. That's crazy. Oh my
That's been
god.
on the whole time. Sure.
That's
It's only
crazy.
on your screen.
What statement?
They can
Oh, it
they can
only
see the
happened on my
statement. It's only on
screen?
your screen.
Okay, my
Yeah,
bad. Well,
it's
I'll
only
send
on
it
your
again.
screen.
It says the statement on the right is actually the right statement. Like it's the initial statement, and then the one on the left is the actual statement like I'm referencing. But it says you're so ignorant. The Hokage is the one who's in control right now. It's like they're dancing a complex dance or something. And then he says, in short, he's got enough of an upper hand to do that. So the Hokage's ability to completely surpasses Delta's. All right, so I just think Delta's is not relative to him at all. And I think via chain scale, Momoshiki's
Okay.
over Naruto.
So yeah. So I just say that there's literally instances of them going relative. So I don't think it just means that they completely he completely outclasses. I think that's just being
Do you
for
know?
your chair.
Okay, so like when you're defining relativity, I want you to define relativity, and
Oh yeah,
after you
we see.
wait. It's
Right.
not. I didn't stop talking.
Yeah, go.
Right. So when you define relativity, after you define relativity, I need you to explain to me how the context aligns with that definition in regards to their more charitable scaling.
So yeah, basically what I'm saying is, relativity would mean, like they're both able to land attacks on each other. We see like their speed is like around the same like area. We see they're both able to do damage to each other. So I think that implies like, relativity. Yeah, and then also, I think that would disprove this because if it greatly surpasses like that just doesn't follow, right? It doesn't follow from them being relative.
Did you answer the second part of my question? You remember the second part of my question I asked you to do?
Yeah. You said, did you not say that? Like, why would this be like applied to this? By the
Retard.
definition?
No, that was
Proving anything?
well, yeah, partially, but the method of which I'm saying you have to apply is very specific. So I'm just go in order of what you said. So you said that relativity is going to be somehow indexed to a character being able to land hits with each other, which is more vague. But then you clarify that they're able to damage each other and keep up with each other. Now, the second part of the question was important because I asked you contextually why does it align with that with their more charitable scaling. Now, the reason I said that is because not Momoshiki, my bad, Naruto, he's controlling the entire fight. He's moving Delta away, and he's trying to find an opening, and he's not trying to use ninjutsu. Right. So in regards to their actual scaling beyond this context, right, his ninjutsu, him actually just going all out with killing intent, right, to one shot the character, disregarding other characters, she does not have that Naruto scaling. Right. She's just only scaling to Naruto that has many factors holding him back in regards to his peak AP and speed scaling. And so that's the reason I said the more charitable scaling. So I can even agree they're able to damage each other and react to each other and are able to outpace each other. Right. But it's still indexed to Naruto has more factors limiting his movement and his abilities to use it. And I don't know where you're sourcing that definition from. I need a definition for that.
I mean, yeah. If you don't, if you don't agree with me, with that definition, I can get like an actual definition of relativity. And then also, right. I don't really think that like him fighting defensively, and, like him pushing her away, is like fucking like a limiter on top of him. And also, I don't know if he's purposely not using ninjutsu as well.
That's not our argument. So hold on, I'm just saying you.
Well, yeah, I'm just questioning your
Okay,
claims.
okay, but that's still okay. You didn't even question. You just said I don't think,
Sure.
right? And then you said I do not think X entails this, right? That's more so of your thoughts, right? Because you're not even saying it's just not even objectively associated with each other. You're just saying you think that, right? Which is irrelevant. But check scans chat. So the first thing I'm gonna supply first, and like you, while I'm doing this, go ahead and find like a valid social definition, or at least just a deductive argument for why the definition is true, right? But the first thing I'm gonna point out to you is the fact that he says that her body's fitted with scientific ninja tools. It says, even if I destroy her arms or legs, she'll just regenerate them. So I need to attack her torso, but if I hit her head on, there's a good chance she'll absorb it. What do I do? So the entire point, he doesn't say what do I do. He says what to do. But the entire point is that given the fact she can absorb ninjutsu, he can't go all out in regards to an attack like a giant Rasengan, which we see is able to one-shot her, right, when he's more depleted on chakra. So we know his AP completely surpasses hers, right? So we understand that given this complex thinking, given the fact he's leading her away, and given Kawaki's statement, the ability of him utterly surpassing her in every aspect includes speed and strength. We see he's able to one shot her later on with a weaker state. So yes, I do think the context leads to the fact that she does not have more charitable skill than Naruto.
So yeah, with that one shot point, I don't really think, or it would be a one shot. We just see that he's just dumping chakra into her, and I think it's just like too much
Is
that she
it
can
one
handle. So
attack or not? Is it
is
one
it one
attack or
attack?
not? Yes, is it one attack?
I
Does he
don't
use
think
one Rasengan
that's
when he
relevant.
overloads
That's
her?
relevant. I'm just
Yeah,
saying
that's what I'm referencing my one shot though.
Hold on, the
My shot.
attack's purpose isn't to like land on her and kill her, right? The purpose is to dump all the chakra, like a lot of chakra into her, so she explodes. So too much that she
Okay,
can't handle. That's the point.
okay, that's irrelevant. What I'm referencing one
Okay, cool.
shot, that means
You
one
think that?
specific action or jutsu in this case used to incapacitate and win the fight by defeating the opponent, which, like I said, can either be referencing incapacitating, killing, or just moving the limbs of, right? And they just pass up or whatever. The entire premise is, though, is that that was one attack and one action. He used one Odama Rasengan, right? The one Odama Rasengan in his most fatigued state during the fight was able to overload her chakra, I mean, her chakra absorption, and then still be able to one shot her even after the Rasengan was absorbed to a massive degree. Right? She literally gets incapacitated after this.
So yeah, I don't think I don't think you're really responding to anything.
Okay.
I explained how the fundamental of the attack would. Yeah, we're not debating the same person. Trouble's just a retard and still hasn't fixed it. But yeah, the purpose is right. I don't think the purpose of the attack was to like land and kill her. As I said, we
That's
see,
irrelevant, bro.
we see. Okay, yeah, you can think that. We see the purpose that he, or the thing that the action that he outputs onto her is making it so she absorbs all the chakra. We know that Naruto has like a really big chakra pool, so we can assume that the point of that was to overload her or overflow her, right? Put too much. And also, I said the definition of relative, it's considered in relation or proportion to something else. So these actions that I explained, like them going relative, or my bad. Them landing attacks on each other, them doing damage to each other, them going like similar
Okay,
speeds.
so don't you
That
think
follows the definition.
so
That's like
for practical context, this isn't
I
giving
don't
me
know what
any
you're talking about,
insight.
Remy.
Hold on, listen. For practical context, it's not giving me any insight on any type of relevant definition of relativity. Via this, for example, says considered in relation or proportion to something else. For example, I could just say Delta's in relation to Naruto because she's able to see her. Right? That's like completely irrelevant because Kawaki is able to do the exact same thing. So we understand that his speed is encapsulated under perception speed. That's in relation or proportion to it. So do you want to give a more exact definition? Like, for example, I can give you one. It's saying that X is over Y is equally as true as by saying Y is over X. Right? I think that's a valid definition of relativity that people consistently use.
Oh, that's not really a definition. It's just an example. But
That's a.
yeah.
Do you know that definitions can be defined by examples? But I don't even understand this addressing what I'm saying.
No, yeah. I'm just saying that. Yeah, I don't think that to be true necessarily. I think that explanation is
Well, I'm
just like
not saying
describing things.
necessarily. I said that in the
I
context
don't
in
think
which
that's
people consistently use
exactly like.
relativity in the community that we're currently in, that's what relativity seems to be referencing. But if you disagree with that, I don't really care because I'm not claiming relativity. But the
No,
definition of
no,
relativity
yeah.
you're giving is not really giving me any actual insight on regards to any relevant scaling. Because, for example, like I said, proportion or relevance to something else can be quantified as, for example, his speed falls under their perception speed as they're able to perceive him. Right. So,
So yeah, that's perfectly fine. I explained to
what's
you
fun about
like
that? What are you talking
on
about?
okay, it's fine. You made the point. Like it's cool. Okay.
Okay.
What I'm
Yeah,
saying
like
is
obviously. Like, do you disagree with what I'm
okay.
saying?
No, I'm talking, bro. Jesus Christ, holy shit.
Like, you say
The
something
whole
irrelevant
entire
stuff.
point is the amount of relativity that I've proposed. Right. We
The
see them
amount of relativity,
consistently.
like
Holy
what?
shit! Can you shut up, bro? Like
Bro,
the
when you're saying
fucking.
amounts of
Oh my
relativity, that already
god!
entails it being a
Can you shut
spectrum. You
up,
didn't
bro?
prove that.
Jesus Christ.
You didn't prove that. You're
Okay, when I
entailing
say
it's a spectrum.
relativity, I explained that it would be that they're able to show similar speed levels. They're showing the ability to damage each other, and on top of that, they're also going like fucking hand to hand, right? That they're
Yeah,
going.
yeah, we know that. Yeah, we know they're able to damage each other. Right? We know they're able
Okay,
to go
yes,
hand to
yes,
hand.
yes. So I'm
That's
saying
relevant.
that would imply that this is relativity, like Jesus Christ.
Okay, so but like I said, when referencing contextual and charitable scaling to Naruto, I explained the extraneous circumstances regarding that as and why she's able to do that. And then, like I said earlier, when you were sourcing the definition of relativity, like you keep using again, I said that the definition of relativity you're giving is just applying a sufficient basis for something that's trivially true. If you're going to say an amount, you're entailing a spectrum. I want to argument as to why relativity has a spectrum in the first place. And secondly, when I said that I think a better definition that people consistently use is saying that X is over Y is equal as you can say Y is over X, and given the fact that they're interchangeable regarding relevant attributes, right? You just never disagreed or said that definition was wrong. Or you just said it's
Yeah,
not
you just didn't
necessarily
track.
the case, which nobody was saying that.
Yeah, you just didn't track. That's nice.
Okay, so do you want to conclude?
Yeah, we can conclude.
Okay, you want to conclude to the VC?
No, no.
I'll judge. Conclude quick.
Who are you? Oh, let's see. No,
Go
I'd
conclude.
I'd rather no. I'd just rather just like we don't need to do that.
Okay, what do we not need to do? We don't need to conclude to
We
the
don't need
VC.
to
We don't
conclude.
need to get.
No, we don't need to
Well,
do
yeah,
that.
we don't need to do anything. You don't need to be alive. I don't really
Yeah,
care.
okay,
I
yeah.
asked you, do you
Holy
want to
shit.
conclude? You
Obviously,
said,
the
yeah.
from that is that we aren't going to do that, right?
Okay, well, I don't know who we is, but I guess I'll conclude in some
Okay,
random
yes,
arguments
you
why
can
you
do that.
lost.
We
Yeah,
is
yeah,
a
I know. So
fucking
you can be
area made
quiet
of
when I do
multiple
it,
amount of
right?
people, right?
Well, you no, you
You
will be
doing
quiet
it
when I do
is
it, right? So
not
my
considered to
conclusion
be.
for the debate is essentially the chain scaling, right? I said the most
Should I
fundamental
get?
chain scaling. Yeah, anybody can listen and just give their input. I don't really care. So, like I said, is that I said that the chain scaling is simply just Momoshiki, which is just below Momoshiki, given the fact it's just a fraction of his strength and experience, right? And then I said that Momoshiki, right, scales to V1 code, who is stated to be over Naruto and Sasuke, and Naruto's verbatim status to completely surpass Delta, right? And then I even said that all relevant attributes regarding speed, strength, and just their ability to use your jutsu, your maximum output, we know that he's over her, given the fact that he's completely controlling the fight, maneuvering her, and is waiting to find an opportunity, and he's purposely not using his stronger attacks because she'd just be able to absorb them. And I said that even more proof of this, that he completely surpasses her in regards to the attack potency aspect, is that the weakest version of Naruto is able to completely overload her and one-shot her during the fight, the weakest version of Naruto relative to the fight. So like I was saying, is that we see that he's able to one-tap her, we see that there's extraneous circumstances allowing her in order to damage and keep up with Naruto, right? He just never refutes the statement that Kawaki makes that all relevant attributes would just be completely inferior. So the notion of relativity that it's just proportional is irrelevant, but then he tries to say that it's a spectrum where they're highly relative or they're more relative. I asked him to prove it's a spectrum given the definition he set. He didn't do that. I said that one of the evidence you would have to propose either credence via definition or you would have to give a deductive argument. He did not do that in regards to anything that was beyond trivially true. I proposed an alternative definition, which was the idea that if x is over y is equals y is over x, if extraneous circumstances allowed to show that x is only over y given x, y, and z, which is not actually charitable scaling in reference to the Naruto that I'm using, which Momoshiki scales over, it's just not proportional, it's just not correlational. You just
Okay,
didn't
cool.
address any of that. I thought you
So
said you
yeah,
weren't
are you
giving
gonna
conclusions, little man.
what?
I thought you said you weren't giving conclusions, little man.
I'm not giving conclusions.
Okay, yeah. So just be
Are
quiet, bro.
you willing to prove the other claims that you made? Because you
Uh,
made multiple
uh,
claims, and I asked you.
what are we gonna if we're not even gonna establish who won that point? What's the point of going to any other ones? We either get consensus or get a judge.
Well,
Or you
oh my
could just
god.
lose on you could just lose on
No,
everything else if you just like
bro.
to lose.
Okay,
If you just like to
this
lose, you could just lose on
point.
everything else.
Hold on. This point was irrelevant to like the other aspects of the scaling, right? Like
No, this was
Delta
like literally
or
the most
Momoshiki.
fundamental
Hold on.
part of the
Wait, Tensei,
scaling. The
Tensei,
entire point was
Tensei,
that if
Tensei,
Naruto
Tensei,
completely surpassed
Tensei,
Delta, there
Tensei,
would be no
chill.
room for
Wait,
relativity.
Momoshiki going relative to fucking or being relative with code is
I
irrelevant
never
to.
said that. I never said
You
that.
did
I
say
never
that.
said he was relative to
Okay,
code.
cool.
I said he was overcode. I said a
Okay, that's
weaker
perfectly fine.
Momoshiki
Okay,
is overcode.
yeah. Okay, that is irrelevant to the point that we just went over. So if you want to
Well,
prove
no,
that
it's
point,
very relevant because the only connective scaling I'm giving
holy
that I think is
shit.
valid enough to establish that delta
So
is
the
not
next
relative
scaling is
is given
relevant.
the fact
Okay,
that
I'm
he's
just saying for
significantly
the
over
point
code and
that this
delta.
is true. If this is true, then the rest of it is irrelevant to it.
Well, no, because if he's just simply
Because
over,
the
that can allow
truth.
room
Oh
for
my god,
relativity,
the
bro.
truthness of this point is irrelevant to the last one. That's what I'm
No,
saying.
okay,
We can
I'm
go over this
saying
point.
to prove
Okay,
that
cool. Okay,
delta
cool.
does
If you
not
don't want to do it,
compare.
that's fine. You can do it. That's fine.
Listen, darn,
Like, I'm
listen,
trying to be
darn,
charitable. I'm
listen,
trying to be
darn,
charitable and say
listen,
get you to prove
darn,
your claims. But
darn,
if you don't want to, that's totally
darn,
fine.
darn. I'm
Recommend it.
saying that to show that these attributes that are relevant in a fight are not comparable, disregarding the definition of relativity I posited earlier, was saying that if Delta is completely below Naruto in every aspect to where she is not comparable, and that establishes that anybody relative or above Naruto, right, will not be relative to Delta. Now, simply, if I provide a method of chain scaling where characters are just able to scale to each other, right, and I'm saying they're able to damage their relative if not over, does not provide the notion that she's still not proportional, given your definition, or she's still not interchangeable in a combat sense. Right. So, like I said, this is the most integral point. I said, if you want to continue off of this, just to get your ass beat, we can do that.
Okay, I don't know if you like aren't understanding, but I'm saying we can go over the other aspects of your chain scaling. I'm trying to be charitable. I'm trying to get
I
you to prove your
literally
points.
just references and what
Oh,
do you
we
want
can do
to do
that.
regarding that? Do you just
Yeah,
want to talk about it just to talk about
I've
it,
said
or do you
multiple
want
times.
to get
I've
consensus or
Nigga,
judgment on
nigga.
this point?
told you multiple times, but we don't have to do that. We can end it here. That's perfectly fine. You seem that you want to end it. I've said we can
No,
do this
I
multiple
didn't
times.
say that, bro. I didn't say
Oh
that.
yeah,
I
yeah,
said that
yeah.
if you wanted to just get your ass beat, independent from
I
whether or not my
already
stance is true, then
explained
sure,
that
yeah.
I'm willing to do this, and then you keep asking the questions, so we can just end it here. That's pretty
I
fine.
didn't. Okay, bro. This guy is